Start. Good evening, everyone. Jose J. Garcia, real estate investor, coach, and mentor. Sunday coaching series continues. Tonight, we do have a topic that we're going to be covering on breaking the deal down. But before we get into that, we got a very special person here, now a partner with us that we like to introduce. And let's see, Instagram, awesome. So here with me this evening, we got Ray Gomes. Ray Gomes was actually on these calls. Ray, I think you were on this call about half a year ago. You were covering about the credit and that sort of thing. So I'm sure we'll hear a lot more on that as well to come. A lot of people did take benefit from that. But a little on Ray. So Ray Gomes, he is a serial entrepreneur. He's a best-selling author. He's a top sales growth consultant, real estate investor, a lot of hats, right? Great stuff. And he helps businesses grow to the next level. So if you're wondering why we're bringing him along and partnering up with him, you can kind of get an idea on that. But good evening, Ray. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me on here. So yeah, let's dive in. So it's great to be back. Last time I talked about credit, but this time I want to talk about branding. This is something that I actually coach, consult with real estate agents, investors, business owners, because the power of branding. One thing I want to touch about branding is, I didn't really fully understand what branding is all about. I didn't see the importance of branding, and I struggled through business. But after learning about branding, I started to see business coming to me versus me having to chase. I know phone calls can be very, very difficult sometimes, very hot hitting, but when you get branded, people want to have conversations with you, right? So that's why I'm here. That's why I decided to be the partnership here, is to help you get branded. One of the things that we also learn is, I want to commend every single one of you for being here today, because the first part of branding is showing up, right? Imagine going to a real estate investor meeting, or if you see an investor that you want to partner, right? And they ask you the question, why should I do business with you? Well, now you have the power of saying, I show up. Because not many people show up. They don't show up on time, or they don't show up at all, and they make excuses, right? Ask yourself, do you really want to do business with them? And if you are in that position, would someone want to do business with you, right? So it goes both ways. So the power of branding starts with showing up. Now, the second part about branding is what I want to bring to the table is, do people really know who you are, what you do, right? It's different from, having a coffee and saying hello, good morning, right? But do they really know what you do? Do they really know how great you are at what you do? And many of us, sometimes it's like, why do I have all these ideas? I'm working so hard, but no one really noticed me, right? What am I missing? And that's where the power of branding comes in. And branding goes a long way with networking. Part of when I started with my company, I used to go and meet everyone in the networking, shaking hands, saying, my name is Ray Gomes, this is what I do. But now it comes to a point where I go to networking event where someone would ask me, where's Ray? Why is he not here? When am I going to see Ray again, right? That's when you know you are somewhat branded, because people want to see the value you bring and how they can introduce you to some of their partners, or potentially to a new business project, right? So that's the power of branding. Next is results, okay? What I mean by results is, you see a lot of people would say that I'm a hard worker, maybe you get a written testimonial. But this is technology, right? How many people can hack into an Instagram account and act as it's you, and you're like, someone hacked into my account? So think about this. How many people can write a fake review, right? How many business owners out there could just go make up some names and write their own review to make them look good? I'm not saying that's what you do, but unfortunately, that's kind of the world we live in, right? So how can we different? So the most powerful tool of networking that we can bring is video testimonial. How many video testimonial are you doing with your partners, your clients, and your potential partners, right? Where they can vouch for you and say, you know what, I met Jose at a re-meeting. We ended up doing a couple of business. One of the best things that I can do for Jose is that he always shows up. He's always up there to fix his mistake, right? And if I were you, I'm comfortable introducing him, and I would do business with him. Which is more powerful? Do you see the tonality? Do you see the experience, right? And that's the part of branding is I want to touch is sales, right? Can you sell your brand? Can you sell yourself so people can do business with you, right? So I know I touched a little bit on this today, but this is something we're actually going to break it down step by step at the upcoming event in June. Now, Jose is going to share the link to that event, but I'm literally going to take some time to break down each section. We're going to do a little role playing at the same time. And that way, I want to see how you brand yourself. And, you know, that's where we come in. That's why partners come in. We help each other out, right? And that's why if you have not signed up for this event, you got to sign up, okay? Because this is not some event where you sign up, you sit down. I want to be more interactive. I love to be more interactive, right? Jose and I've been to multiple networking events, and I can sure she can vouch to say that I'm always networking. As a matter of fact, that's why I'm on this call, right? So it's about getting you branded, okay? My role here is really to help you get branded to where people want to do business with you, where they want to call you, right? How many of you would like to have a conversation where they already ready to say, okay, this is what I can offer you, this is what we can do, let's see if that's a good fit, versus having to sell yourself for 20 minutes on why they should partner up with you. That's a whole different ballgame of conversation right there, right? I love the conversation when I get a phone call saying, what can we do next, versus going, who are you? Why should I talk to you, right? What is the biggest objection you always hear? I'm busy, right? What's busy? If you are branded, they will make time for you. Plain and simple. If you are branded and you bring value, they will make time for you. We got to get you there. And in order to get there, you got to show up. That's all it is, right? I know you show up because you're showing up today, but that's the power of branding. It's very simple, but it takes dedication. It takes principle, and it takes someone to guide you to get there, but you got to do the work, right? And the first step is showing up. So I hope in this short period of time, I brought some value to you and understand the power of branding. And if I have to summarize in one word, what is branding all about is trust. Why should I trust you to be part of my business? And how can we take that to the next level? That is the power of branding. All right. So I hope to see you at this event. Okay. We're going to break it down. And by gosh, we're going to get you branded.
Great stuff. Contractor. Absolutely. So for those of you that just tuned up, welcome to this call. Again, if you're watching this tomorrow, welcome. And you can kind of get an idea why we're partnering with Ray. You know, Ray is legit. He's serious. And there's a reason why he is successful like he is. He brings it and he calls it like it is. We love that for him. Ray is actually on a trip, business trip at this time, and you can see the commitment. He's out of the country. He was able to come on this call, and like our coach and mentors be, some of you are at home sitting watching Netflix and can't even join the call. You got to show up. You got to take that first step of action, which is actually get on the call. And from there, we can talk further onto that. Nothing works unless you do. Anybody have any questions for Ray before we let him go?
Anything on branding, anything anything you have questions on social media, what to put out content, I got a few minutes here.
And the thing about it is, like, and even for me, Ray, I can sit here and I'll coach, and then I get emails with questions. Let me tell everybody on here. And again, if you listen to this for recording, I'm talking to you too. When you have somebody skilled and successful like Ray in front of you, now is a time when you take initiative and you ask those questions. There is no dumb question. One thing I learned coming very early on, and my first coaching was Fortune Builders. I don't know if some of y'all know who that is. I was so green inside of that classroom, you couldn't get me to ask a question. I didn't know what to ask. So when other people ask questions, it was like, oh, I didn't even know that existed. It helps other people when you ask questions. So don't ever feel like you have a stupid question that you can't ask, unless you're asking the same question over and over. But at that point, we may type it up for you. But okay. Ray, I don't think anybody's going to have any questions for you. If they do, right. Ray's going to be coming on these calls a bit more. Like I said, he's traveling this week, so he is limited to. But any questions that come in through, we'll forward them over to you at that point. And if not, we'll wait until you come back on these calls and ask you directly.
You got it. All right, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Ray. All right, Ray, he is awesome. Ray, we actually connected probably close to a couple of years ago, and it came through the same coaching platforms that we use, the same mentors. He's actually mentored by the same coach as I am. So, it was meant to be met at one point sooner or later. And that's the thing is, I'll work directly with many people, not meaning that we do business together in coaching, but we do a lot of business together. One of the things we're trying to incorporate more and more is bringing them onto our platform. We may be part of the platform as well, surely if they ask us to, but it's bringing it to add value to you all listening on here. Let's do deals Tuesday on Tuesday evening calls. That's one place where we're going to start bringing other investors, whether real estate investors, commercial, mobile homes, park owners, it doesn't matter, because anybody we bring on, they can talk about some of their success, some of their achievements. I think it can help everybody else out. To me, what drives me most is when somebody tells me their story. Somebody can say, oh, I own 10 mobile home parks, I own 700 doors. That's all awesome and all. I mean, I guess that kind of motivates me a little bit. But when they tell me how they started with pennies in their pocket, everything was a struggle, they got no's left and right, nobody believed them, that sounds like me coming along. So suddenly I can relate a little bit more. And that drives that much more motivation each and every time I listen to them, which is why I read books a lot of times. I need to get motivated, right? But even more than that, I mean, it's the information that they share and the questions they can answer. Some of these people that own 10, 20 mobile home parks can answer questions that I haven't even been asked yet. So when I need to reach out, I have mentors myself. I've always said, if your coach or mentor does not have mentors or coaches of their own, something is off. Nobody knows it all. Everybody needs somebody, right? So, I mean, and I use the example of celebrities and athletes. Athletes, is the athlete better or less than the coach? They're there for a reason. You need them there for support. You need them there sometimes just to even confirm certain things. So that being said, I mean, with Ray in our team at this point, and he was referring a lot to the shadow event. That's what he's talking. June 25th, June 26th. If you see the background on me right now, that is the last shadow event that we had, which took place down in Central Georgia. Amazing. It was an amazing event. We had over 60 people sign up, 40 people showed up. There you go. Okay. Even people that paid still didn't show up. You can't do a whole lot about that, right? Nothing works unless you do. The first step to take forward is to actually take action. Take that leap of faith. And it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be uncomfortable. Nothing grows in comfortable zones. Remember that. Okay. But with Ray there to teach you, coach you, branding, he is phenomenal when it comes to coaching branding, marketing, and advertising. We have a whole topic lesson that we cover on the above as well, how to get off market deals, how to connect with park owners, park managers, other investors, and or direct sellers, meaning somebody who lives in mobile homes. He's going to add a whole nother step level to that and how to actually brand yourself. He was talking a lot in the sense of credibility. A lot of you are still calling mobile home park owners and managers at this time and getting a flat, we don't need you. No, we don't want your service. That is not to be taken personal. Okay, you are not credible enough. That's all that it is. You're not credible enough, and or you don't have enough results, enough success, and or enough experience yet. That's okay. If you are a GMHU student, though, for one, you do build your credibility immediately because you can use this as a reference. But all that means many times when you're getting flat nose, it just means you need to follow up. I had a student. I had a student about I want to say about 4 shadows ago. And I'm talking about last year course, 4 shadows. Last year, we did a shadow every other month or every month. I don't know where I got the time for, but it is not in our time at this point. Okay. But we got to talking about brand and marketing. And I remember he kept saying park managers are rude. They're rude. They're disrespectful. I can't work with them. And I finally kind of, in front of the class, because I wanted to hear what he had to say, I said, what is this with you and park managers? And he says, yeah, every time I call a park manager, they either have a bad attitude, they're rude, they hang up on me, or they tell me never to call again. So I can use this word, screw them. I'm never going to call them again. And I said, well, as much as you may feel that way, that is the worst approach that you can have. How many park managers are you going to continue to call and feel that one of them is going to give you an immediately, oh, yes, where have you been all over our life, right? Because it could be what you're saying to begin with. So we went through a whole spill, a whole pitch of 30 seconds, how to make yourself credible, which we obviously tune that. But what was most important out of that was that we let them know it is not to be taken personal. You could have caught this person on the wrong day. A quick tip for y'all all. Do never call a park manager office on a Monday or on a first of the month. That's the worst time to call. So there you go on that. But it was more of, you need to follow up. If a park manager is telling you, no, we don't need your business, it's one or two things. Okay. One, they don't understand your concept. They don't know what you're really doing. They don't know what you're up to. It's something they haven't heard about. No, we don't need you. Or it could be that they've already had investors, basically somebody doing the same thing you're trying to do, and they burnt that bridge for you. Okay. And we see a lot of that. But I've always said, those park managers and or park owners that give you the strongest no or the rudest no, those are the ones you need to pursue the most. Okay. Let me explain. If they've been burnt by other investors, they don't trust any other investor. They're not just going to allow anybody to come in. In their mind, investors are terrible, right? And they'll tell you that. So what I say is if you keep following up, persistence, one is going to show them you're more serious than the other ones. Everybody else is going to call on the same thing. Well, I don't need them kind of thing. Okay. But when you follow up repeatedly over and over, they're going to see your seriousness. All you need is one deal, one transaction to prove yourself with them. When you get that foot into the door and you actually prove yourself and do what you say you're going to do, at that point is when they realize, okay, this guy may be legit. When you become that legit guy, do you think they're going to reach out to any other investor or allow any other investor to come into the park? They're not going to allow that. Why? Because they got you. You're actually legit. You're actually doing what you're saying you're doing. And suddenly you have no competition. Does that make sense? Right? So those are the parks that I want to get into, is those that have no other investors. Now, in my parks specifically, we bring investors in at that point with our credibility, but we're at a different level at this time for a good reason, right? Let's see. All right. So yes, and at the shuttle event, another thing that we do have is park owners, park managers. Okay. One of the most scariest things for any investor, this was for myself as well. Okay. When you're first starting out is, what do I say to a park manager? How do I talk to them? What if they don't want to answer me? What if all these doubts that you build up in yourself, and calling a park manager is one of the scariest. Any investor, especially the one that I asked, that is usually the most troubling thing. I don't want to cold call people. I don't want to call the park manager. You better get over that real quick. Okay. And the quicker you get over it and or start doing it, the better you get. Like anything else, better becomes from practice, right? So at the event, we do have a park manager live in person. Scary, right? And we got a park owner. So any questions that you have there, it is a perfect time to get those answered. But like Ray was saying, we will be role playing. We will take one or two students, investors out of the group, and here, let's pretend you call the park manager and introduce yourself. We do this to make you better, to make you hear yourself again, okay? And we try to correct you. We try to add any value to at that time. And of course, the park manager, who is a park manager, will tell you, this is what I'm looking at. These are the reasons why I may say no, I may not be okay with this, et cetera, et cetera. Same for park owner. Handyman and contractors, whether you're in real estate, stick built, commercial, warehouses, it doesn't matter. One of the hardest tests that we deal with as investors when we're dealing with housing, contractors and handyman. And I'm not trying to give them a bad name. I actually had a couple contractors reach out to me on some of the videos I've made and said, we don't appreciate the way you're talking about contractors. I'm thinking, well, if you're a good one, it doesn't really matter, right? But you're going to get that. That's okay. But we will have a contractor. We will have handyman on site. As a matter of fact, the second day, which is June 26th, that's when we get a shuttle. We get picked up in a bus, they take us out to a community, and we'll do exactly what you're seeing on the background. We'll be going in and out of mobile homes that are distressed, some that have never been touched or sitting there for a couple of years. That is what you call actually setting distressed, okay? We'll go inside of homes that are being worked on. There will be contractors on site that day working on mobile homes, where again, the one that's in the classroom with us all, you can ask them all the about, but the ones that are out in the field, you'll get to actually see work that they're doing at the time. The goal is to teach you everything possible within these 2 days of it. This is the first 2-day event that we're having. Up until now, it's been a 1-day event. We had the first one of the year a couple months ago. It was great, but I say it's a little rushed. I want to slow down things a little bit more. I want to bring more people into the class to add more value to you all, right? Ray is going to be there. Like I said, he will be talking about branding, marketing, advertising. He will tell you sales. He is the #1 sales in the country in his business. That tells you something right there, right? I like to learn from him, right? We learn from the best. We can aim high and we're going to be okay. Insurance agent, covering your assets. I cannot stress that enough. If another person asks me, should I insure my mobile home? Okay. It's up to you really, because it is an option in the state of Georgia and a lot of states. It's actually not mandatory for you to insure a mobile home. But I will say this, with the money, the investment that you're putting into a mobile home, do you really want to have it uninsured? I'm not going to talk about policies on this call because that's what the gentleman, the rep that is going to be at the event, who specializes in mobile homes and policies and everything you need, he will be there to discuss and break down policies from when it's being rehab, post rehab, should it be a tenant because you're renting it out, your landlord, or maybe you sell it with a note or financing, they obviously have to put insurance. He'll cover all the above. Okay. Frank is the gentleman, by the way. Frank, he'll be there with us. But life happens. Bottom line, we cannot underestimate that. The beautiful mobile homes that are behind me, should there be nasty, ugly storms come by and trees fall on it or it cuts on fire, where does that put you? Right? So yes, the answer to that is yes, you must insure your mobile homes each and every time. Okay. Closings, documents, that is a topic that we cover as much as we can, because again, it's just one more topic that is that much important. It has to happen. When you're talking about the legality of mobile homes, the biggest difference between mobile homes and real estate is the closings and the documents. One is real estate, okay, which is land, a stick-built house, commercial, like I'm mentioning, and then you have mobile homes, which are personal property. Personal property is nothing different than what a car, a boat, a motorcycle would be. There's titles to it. There's no deeds. There's only a deed if there's land under it, which we'll cover in another call, converting mobile homes into real estate, which you can, and that does add value. Phenomenal exit strategy, by the way, on that. So something great to learn on there as well. But we cover closings, documents. We do provide everybody with a file that they can review, actual paperwork that we use. Bill of sales, manufacturer sales, wholesale agreements, A to B, B to C. I don't know what everybody's level is at or what your exit strategy you're trying to be. But for every exit strategy, there is different documents that you all need to know how to fill out. And we're not attorneys. We cannot give you legal advice. Of course, everything is for educational purposes. But what we show you is what we do. Bottom line, I'm not a teacher. I'm a coach. I'm a mentor, meaning I'm an active investor. What I'm teaching people is what I actually do. I've been there, I've done that, I know the troubles, and that's why when I hire a coach and mentor, I want the same thing. Somebody that's actually doing it and or has been doing it. Not somebody that's going to run to a book and let's figure it out. No, I want to know what you did when that figured out. So many things to cover. At the event, we'll also have a couple guest speakers. At this time, we have 3 confirmed guest speakers who are all going to add that much more value. All very successful speakers, by the way. That's what we're trying to do on these events. And we're going to make these bigger and bigger. By bigger, I'm not saying I'm talking a whole week. I don't see us doing that anytime soon. But we are going to make them a little bit longer, and we are going to add more and more value to you all. It is imperative. If you're trying to get into mobile home investing, you join these classes and you join this event. Out of all the coaching classes that we provide, Zoom calls, virtual, whatever it may be, we get more people that become mobile home investors to be after the shadow events. I can tell you a story about how I've been hounded after the shadow events they're ready to make the deal, chase me down. That's okay. Don't do that anymore, but that's okay at that time. Okay. But that, we make it as easy, as simple as possible for you all. And that's what we're trying to do. 7 years ago, when I got started, I want to say it wasn't as simple. It just seemed like there wasn't as many people doing it. One thing that a lot of people forget, and I repeat myself at their event, is when you have a large crowd like what you see behind me, those are all people doing the same thing you're doing. Network. You got the ability, the time to give out your business card, to take some emails, some numbers. Is it possible somebody out there in that group may live near you, or maybe struggling or dealing or have already overcame an issue that you may be going to? It is important you get those numbers. Check in and follow up. This is like a class we're having here. So at the end of it, we always suggest that you do the same, but there's so many opportunities that come with this. Let me see chat box real quick. And I am going to get into a couple announcements here in a second. We're rolling down to 8:30. All right. Yes, thank you. Thank you on that one. Reminder. Okay, let's see. Instagram, anything on Instagram? A few people are joining us as well. Thank you all for joining us. I've added the email link as well, so y'all can all follow us on social media. All right. Wednesday coming up. So that's the shadow. That does it for the shadow. Visit GarciaMHU.com. Click on the coaching or events tab. You'll see the shadow event and you can sign up on that. June 25th, June 26th. It will take place in Central Georgia. A few weeks before the event, we'll start sending any and everybody who signs up a lot more details. restaurants nearby, hotels nearby. If you need to fly in, last event, I think we had about 4 people who flew in quite a ways. So we'll give you all the details that you need at that time. So let me yes, if anybody has any questions, like admin posted on there, unmute yourself, you can talk on here. But the next event that we have is, of course, Tuesday. Let's do deals. We have a lot of deals. We're getting ready to upload this evening, first thing tomorrow. And then, of course, Tuesday, I go out in the field to network some more. We got an update coming up on the storage units. It's a go. I can't wait to tell about that. Storage units inside of mobile home parks now. Yes. Had to work hard for that one, it seemed like, but we got it. That's what matters. So we'll talk about that on Tuesday. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Visit the GarciaMHU.com. You can see that coaching. We'll be covering deals. Wednesday, for those of you that are part of the Wednesday calls, which is members only, if you're doing it for the first time, you do not have to pay. You can we can send you an invite. Just send us an email on that and we'll let you in for no cost, of course. But this Wednesday coming up, I will actually be live speaking. I've been asked to be a guest speaker at a local RIA real estate event. It's a pretty big meetup that they have once a month, end of the month, and it's near downtown Atlanta. If you're interested, if you're in the area, or if you're local to Atlanta area, send us an email, visit our social media. We do have it advertised on there. It's Wednesday from 6 to, I think, 9 o'clock. 7 p.m. I'll go live. That's all I know. I'll be speaking at 7 p.m. and we're going to be talking about exit strategies. So many more exit strategies we are getting into, and others that we're looking into to get as well. This year, January 1st, I introduced 3 new exit strategies. Okay. As of this week to come, we got storage units coming around, and we got a couple more in mind that we're thinking when it comes to mobile homes. So you see the opportunities are endless when it comes to mobile homes. You know, exit strategies are very much for mobile homes like real estate, just a lot more opportunities. That's the way I put it. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Yep. Awesome. Okay. Well, visit our site. I hope to see you all join definitely the Shadow event. We're going to make this one the biggest one of the year. We don't know after this June 25th when the next one will be. We don't know if we're going to do this once a year, twice a year. We'll see, post this one at that time. But if anybody has any questions, send me or our admin an email. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. Have a good night.